As you can see, last night's Donald Trump speech on Republican Convention, National Convention, last night's 1 hour speech for President Donald Trump made a great speech last night as NBA players have been boycotting the entire war. The NBA players have boycotting, not stop leaving them having Atlanta Magic in the court practicing when the Milwaukee Bucks not practicing. Then they have to cancel the game, the playoff game, and hope and think there will be no playoff games ever in the season. Well, what I just heard just a few hours ago, they believe that if Donald Trump doesn't resign, then the NBA players will be gone. Well, if Donald Trump doesn't resign, that means there will be no more NBA ever. Unless, I don't know, August 28, 2020. Cancel, playoffs being canceled. People raise their eyebrows and something like this, and everybody do believe that Donald Trump must have done something. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, anyway, let me think that everybody just say. March 28 in Washington, D.C. You just do not know. You just won't ever continue. And just when you think things not going to be able to work, things can happen in a hurry. In a hurry. But look, in reality, everything can happen. Everything can happen in life. And they don't have no sports anyway. 2 days ago, MLB, MLS soccer, tennis, and NBA all thinking about the violence. This is a Black Lives Matter movement we're talking about. Black Lives Matter. And I really don't care. But the whole stuff going on is real. Violence against African Americans are real. And it didn't and never didn't kill. That the war don't even kill, and that's what it is. That's what it is. They said they're gonna have law enforcement. I don't know. But anyway, but I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be rude. But all I'm saying is, when did it gonna stop? When did this gonna start? The same time the NBA players 2 days ago, those NBA players get very emotional. They get very angry. They get very embarrassed. The war has been disgraced on that. They boycotting the game. So what the hell? Okay, look. Here's the news. The CNBC says NBA will work to set up 2020 election polling sites in winners as part of playoff restart. And that really is. The NBA says they will work to set up the 2020 election and to vote against Donald Trump. That's what will happen. They will vote for Joe Biden for sure. Now here it is. NBA teams will work to set up 2020 election voting sites in winners as part of the commitments made to end playoff strike over racial injustice, the league announced Friday. In a statement, National Basketball Players Association Executive Director Michael Roberts and NBA Commissioner Aldo Silva said that in exchange for franchise owners, they will work with local officials to convert them into polling place to allow for a safe in-person voting options for communities vulnerable to the coronavirus pandemic. If deadlines to set up new voting locations have passed, teams will instead push to use the winners for voting registers and ballot receiving boards. Seven NBA teams have already agreed or offered to make factories into polling places for November's election during a playoffs lead drive to increase voting turnout, aim and recognizing over systematic racism against Black Americans. They include the Atlanta Hawks, Sacramento Kings, Detroit Pistons, Cleveland Cavaliers, Houston Rockets, and Milwaukee Bucks. Many of those teams have specialist winners in swing states that will help to determine the outcome of the presidential election this year. Cities such as Atlanta and Milwaukee saw long lines for in-person voting in parliament elections this year, particularly in Black communities. When the pandemic has hit hardest, teams would normally teams would normally be playing games in their home winners around election day, November 3rd. But the pandemic delayed both the 2020 playoffs and the rest of the league's 2020-21 season. The Bucks leading NBA-wide playing stoppage Wednesday. They did not take the floor for a playoff game against the Orlando Magic as they protested the police shooting of Jacob Blake, a 29-year-old black man in Karasi, Wisconsin. Many players in the phenomenal black NBA Warriors restart in Orlando late last month and was distant from their efforts to combat racist inequalities in the U.S. following the police killing of black Americans George Floyd and Breonna Taylor earlier this year. The playoff part this week, part of the wild walking stoppage in the WNBA, MLB, and NHL. Laura Bardo committed to the racial justice activities, along with the effort to set up polling places. The NBA will set up a social justice collaborative made up of players, coaches, and governors. Roberts and Silver said the group will focus on increasing access to voting for more than seven engagement and advocated for meaningful police and criminal justice reform. The league will also create an ad design the singer to increase seven engagement to one during playoff games. We look forward to the resurrection of the playoffs and continue to work together in Orlando and all in all NBA teams markets to push for meaningful and sustainable change, Roberts and Silver said. Now the NBA will restart playoff games on Saturday. That will be tomorrow. And what he's talking about is the NBA will set that on. And that means the whole stuff has got to stop. Maybe a black African Americans of the NBA playoffs will be thing. Since it has been boycotting, smell and and unagreed. And that's what it's happening. That's what it's all about. Stevie A. Smith knows it. Max Kellerman knows it. Alice Seven knows it. Michael Jordan knows it. Shaquille O'Neal knows it. Sean Sparker knows it. Ken Smith knows it. Ollie Johnson of TNT Sports knows it. And yes, it is. It is. And you see a lot of people marching. No more violence, no more killing. But that's it is what it is. But yeah, it's it's that's what it's all about. And something has to change. Night, Clippers Doc Rivers did not believe that the season was over. I think everyone else did. I knew how hard the emotions were, and I had a lot of faith that it will calm down. Rivers said Friday, but he added that the players' vote was close. Though I don't think it was a layout either way. The players' meeting Wednesday took place at Wisconsin, but the 13 teams still inside the league's bubble. Only the Lakers and Clippers told their players that would not be played on. The meeting was with the Clippers guard Patrick Bagley reporting threatening off Michael Roberts, the president of the National Basketball Association, insisted as she spoke. Now, we have a very interesting conversation. Beverly said Friday, before the team's practice, the Players Association is like a family. I'm pretty sure everyone here and all of the cameras pouring into me. Everyone is part of my family. You don't always agree with your family members, and that's okay. Your commitments tomorrow through the day or Thursday's postponed game six between the Clippers and Mavericks has led to be announced. The teams are possession by the Clippers following a long night of discussion above and a focus of dialogue that we had was between players only. But whatever dialogue that was, it came out to be positive. Bailey said. The Clippers spent the wee hours of Friday morning in a hotel hallway continuing the debate that began during the bubble live meetings of players. I thought Lou Williams was fantastic. Kawan Lil was fantastic. Bailey said Marcus Morris Sr. was absolutely wonderful. There was a lot of guys who talked that night. I was just sitting there trying to get them to talk, and they did. And a lot of emotion. So there's a lot of emotion here, and a lot of emotion here in the NBA. Well, here's the schedule. 3:30 we had the Orlando Magic versus Milwaukee Bucks, Oklahoma City and Houston at 6:30, and then 9 o'clock. In Game 5, Portland versus LA Lakers. Then tomorrow will be August, will be, I think it will be Boston. Game 1, Boston versus Toronto at 1 o'clock on ESPN. ESPN LA Clippers versus Dallas Mavericks at 3:30 on ESPN. And 8:30 p.m. will be this in Game 6, Denver versus Utah. So those are the 3 games for tomorrow and 3 games. Let me tell you what Chris Paul did. Let me at the game at all. I never talk about something else that what happened. And it did happen for sure. But this is how this this is not about the backgrounds and all this stuff and the things that ever going to imagine. And LeBron James will tee off. Things got a little pissed off these days. And this time in all those hours. Now, in the most of Chris Paul said NBA players need to reset and to refocus over the past few days after another police shooting of a black man. But they had emotions tonight and ready to compete the NBA postseason. It's definitely been a very emotional past couple of days, not only for myself, but anyone, Paul said. I got to give a lot of credit to our players. It's been a hard time. It's been a hard time. Everyone's struggling a lot. But the communication that we have them amazing. What anyone saw in the past couple of days were guys just reset, to refocus, and that's what we did. Paul had been a president of the NBA Players Association since 2013 and on the executive committee since 2009. Paul played a vital part of the NBA season faced another possible shutdown as raising the war in the social justice movement following Sunday's police shooting of Jacob Blake in Kokoschino, Wisconsin. On Wednesday, the Milwaukee Bucks refused to play Game 5 against the Orlando Magic, setting beatings forward. With reports on emotions, with the person. Okay, that's emotions and sometimes concession and conversations being part of them. The Los Angeles Lakers were one of the teams, 2 teams now won the meetings. It was never about one person. It was never about one team. It was all about all of us together, Paul said. When the events happened the other day of the game, we stood in solidarity with our brothers from Milwaukee Everything that we do is about the brotherhood, about everyone as a whole. So it was never about what it is this one team or what is this one player going to do. Paul said players need some time to process and consider their place as inoculations and forces of social injustice reforms in the record Blaze shooting. Now the shooting that continues to happen, it creates a lot of unrest, a whole lot of unrest, Paul said. For us to have a prominent African American lead, to see our black brothers being shot and killed on a daily basis, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to us. I know why it sets us to go out and play. I get it, but we need some time out of us. We need some time to refocus and understand that we can do that. We're human. At the end of the day, a lot of times people pass a lot of judgment about what we should do or what we shouldn't do. But I give all guys a lot of credit because they've been doing a heck of a job down the hill, performing and speaking on the different sorts of injustice going on day in and day out while trying to be a great athlete, while trying to be a great husband, while trying to be a great father. While Paul's focus has been on vote, he says players and person NBA franchise and team owners to open the windows and practice factories as voting locations, among other ideas to promote it. The NBA and NBPA released a joint statement Friday detailing certain initiatives including winners and practice factories as part of polling sites. And here's the WNBA, and here's what it says though on the WNBA. It says just understand about blah, blah. Now Paul said he spoke with Blake's father, and this is what he said. I think for the young guys in our league to get a chance to see how guys are really coming together and speaking and see real changes, real action. Because guys are tired. Like, I mean, tired. When I say tired, we're not physicality tired. We just tired of seeing the same thing over and over again. Right? Paul said. Now, it's an emotional expression when you're a black man. You know that when George Hill spoke, he talked about being a black man and he was hard. He was hard. We're all hard. We're all tired of just seeing the same thing over and over again and everybody just accepts us to be okay. Just because we get paid great money. You know, we're human. We have real feelings. We have real feelings. And I'm glad that we got the chance to get in a room together to talk with one another and not just cross paths and said, good luck in low game today. As for what he hopes people understand from the perspective of players, Paul retaliated that it's not about them. Just understand that you'll go a large hill that understands that it's just not about any one of us. Our WNBA ladies stood with us. All the other leagues, whether it be baseball, whether it be baseball or whether it be hockey, whatever it is, we're human, just like anybody else, Paul said. We don't always do anything right. But I'll tell you, for me, it's been really tough. It's been really tough just for the simple fact that when things like this happen, I like to talk to my kids about it. I'm a long way from my kids. I can't explain to them why this video is going all over the internet. This I just can't explain to them why this video is going all over the internet. I had an 11-year-old black man. I mean, wait a minute. Paul said I had an 11-year-old black son. black son who has witnessed this stuff day in and day out. And we're just trying. And once again, I want to go back and just tell our players, great job. Great job. Keep doing what you're doing. And we're going to continue to make change with action. While the emotions were raw, Paul said maintaining and unfinding from towards activity, the same goal was always the justice objective for the players, and something that will stick with him. 15, 15 years, 15 years in the league, and I never seen anything like it. But the voice that we heard, I never forget it. I never forget it. And that's what his message for Paul says on. And for all of us, the people, for the black, if you have a family, if you have parents that raise you, you have parents that raise you, you have grandparents that raise you, and that's what you have to do. And for sure, people, and it's just not right. It just isn't right at all. And that's what people in the black community, we need to stay together. And let's just continue about this. On March 28th, 19th, up in the Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., that's what they really show over time. I've been in this war for 36 years. I've been in this war for 36 years. And I get along with everybody. I get along with people. I do get along with people. Sometimes they hate me. Sometimes they love me. But they love me and they all respect me for what I've been doing. And that's what the respect. Respect. Now, when you raise the fist in the music, just so you know about Jacob Blake. We all know about Jacob Blake shooting. And and that's just for sure. Now, Friday's march, which will head to the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in the afternoon, comes exactly 57 years since crowds packed the National Mall to determine civil rights and economy opportunity in 1963. The defend the community march. Get no knees off our necks, bring an end to Turner's week, one that saw Blake shot by police in Wisconsin. So, and just change will come. I can guarantee change will say too much, but also all you have to do is like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. All you have to do is check this out on live streaming on the YouTube. Gotta say it for now. Boy, boys, what are people going to learn about this after all this time? And I keep it between the line. The aunts, the children, and the friends, my friends that I've been with, I hang out with, just have to wake up. I'm Joseph Crudup, and I'll see you next time.